Now, here are Val Warner and Ryan Cheverini on Season 8 of Windy City Live. Twin OBGYNs Dr. J and Dr. I.
All right, and then later, it's Fact or Fiction with our twin OBGYNs, Dr. J and Dr. I. We'll be right back.
Here's a question for you. Can you get an STI from a toilet seat? Up next, our twin OBGYNs, Dr. J and Dr. I, are here with the answer. They're our favorite twin OBGYNs from right here in Chicago, and they're back to play a little Fact or Fiction, so let's hear it for Dr. J and Dr. I. Hey, you guys. All right, we need not waste any time. Let's get right to it. Get your cards out. Number one, is it possible to get an STI from a toilet seat? So we're not calling them STDs anymore. We're calling them STIs.
STIs, and not diseases, they're infections.
Okay.
I'm going to say that's fiction, except in like really, really weird
Little sketchy
No,
guy.
I'm going to say fact. I feel like this is a fact.
So this is actually a fact, but it is very, very rare, but it can happen.
It can happen.
So when we're talking about STIs, we're looking at things like HIV, herpes, gonorrhea, chlamydia, trichomonas, and all of these need a warm, moist environment to survive, which is why they kind of live where they live, you know? But in theory, if somebody gets bodily fluids, so, you know, vaginal secretion, semen, feces, blood on the toilet, and then you sit down, especially if you have like a cut or an abrasion, you could theoretically get the infection. It's super rare, but there are cases documented, so I'm very type A when I go to the toilet. If I have to sit and it's not at home, I wipe it down.
Wait, but what do you wipe it with, though?
I get soap and water from the sink, I wipe it down, then I dry it.
Really?
Yeah, yes, then I get my
what if you really gotta go? You ain't got time for that.
By that time, he's made a mess in his pants. I don't have to go anymore.
Hey, Doc, why am I picturing you with like a whole janitorial crew? You got your like set of keys.
Hair drying.
Right. I mean, because chances are, if you gotta go publicly and you really don't want to, you don't have time to do all that.
I'm like, I can wait another 30 seconds. It's a mind game. I gotta wait.
Never mind.
I'm gone now.
Okay, all right, let's move on to this one. Number two, to treat cold sores, honey is just as effective as antiviral creams. It just sounds right. It just sounds like it could be a fact.
It sounds wrong.
No, it sounds like it's a fact.
There's nothing right about herpes, right? But no, this is actually true. This is true.
I'm way off.
And check this out. So 50% of people have herpes, right?
Yeah.
You know, some of them have it north of the equator, some have it south of the equator, but 50% of people have herpes, and they tend to be most contagious when they actually have the lesion. Right. And so they did this study, and they found out that when you place honey on the lesion, it clears just as quickly as it would if you use these antiviral creams like acyclovir, Zovirax, things like that. Now, honey is chock full of hydrogen peroxide, which kills germs, and it's also chock full of this stuff called arabinogalactans. And basically, these boost the immune system. And so if you put honey on cold sores or sores south of the equator if you want to, then it actually will clear the
So you
infection
can put honey down there?
You could, yes. You could. Only for medical purposes.
Oh! I didn't mean that like that. Sure. I was thinking, like, is it safe to put it near that?
If you place it externally, absolutely.
All right.
No judgment here. So it's always her. It's always her.
Okay. Number three. A woman with persistent general arousal, which I've never, general arousal disorder, PGAD, never heard of that before, may have more than 50 orgasms in 2 hours. And that's a great, I'm reading the card, and that's a great thing.
That's amazing. I want to look at all the women and see how they vote.
It's called PGAD, a woman with persistent general arousal disorder.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to answer this.
I'm going to say it's fact. It says it sounds so crazy.
It would make you feel good about yourself, right? You'd be like 200 times. Look at me. So it's actually persistent genital arousal disorder. And but yeah, this is actually.
Oh, it's persistent genital?
It's persistent. She's like, yes! It's persistent genital arousal disorder.
Okay.
And so that's actually fiction, but this is the thing. So that actually does exist. It exists, okay? This is a condition where you just have constant blood flow to that area. So you constantly feel aroused, and these women can have upwards of 150 orgasms in 2 hours. But it's not as good as it sounds. It's really not. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's not. Wait, let's hear him out.
It's not a good thing. So this is actually kind of like linked to certain pain syndromes. So the orgasms can actually be painful, and just because you're constantly aroused, you're in constant pain.
Right, because any way you move,
any way you move, it's just like, you know, enough is enough, you know? And the thing is, they don't really know what causes it. And so, you know, there's some cases where surgery helps, some cases where psychotherapy helps, but a lot of times there's no real cure for it. So it's actually pretty debilitating. It sounds great, but it's some people are like, debilitate me, please.
Hey, Doc, how do men get this?
Did you not listen to the doctor is not a good thing. Moving on, number 4. Breastfeeding will reduce your risk of breast cancer. I don't think that that's true. I think this is a myth.
No, this is actually fact.
It is fact?
That is a fact, yes. So when you breastfeed, a couple of things happen. You're getting rid of all these cells in your breast, so you reduce the risk of cancer in that sense, but also you reduce your estrogen levels, which reduces your overall risk of breast cancer. It can be up to 20%. And it's not just breast cancer. It reduces your risk of ovarian cancer, it hastens that time for that bounce back so you lose the weight faster, reduces your bleeding. There's less childhood cancer for baby, less asthma, less allergies, a lot of good things. So, but yes, it absolutely does reduce the risk of breast cancer.
Okay, all right, here we go. Number 5, there's no harm to your health when cuddling with pets such as dogs, cats, and even your backyard chickens. This has got to be fiction.
Yeah.
Wait, fiction.
I'm going to say
That's
fiction.
You do not need to be cuddling with your pets. You know, you see people at the dog yard like French kissing their dogs and things like that, and you shouldn't be
We
doing
just
that.
did a story about French kissing cows.
No, cows?
Yeah,
No,
it's a thing.
No cows, no dogs, no chickens, no cats, nothing. And the reason is, and take it from somebody, I've got a dog that I hate, a cat that I love, and I've got 16 chickens.
You got 16
I've got 16 chickens. I used to have 3 ducks. The coyotes got them. Another story for another time. But yes, I have 16 chickens. But this is the deal. Cats, dogs, and chickens tend to have salmonella. And so when you get real up close and personal with them, you can get salmonella. For healthy people, not a big deal. But people over 65, younger than 5, it can actually be really serious. And so much so that the CDC says, don't have chickens if you're over 65 or younger than 5. Which, if you're younger than 5, you're going to have chickens, I don't know.
And his chicken's feet fell off, by the way. He's going to tell you that story another time.
Another time.
But just remind me to tell you that.
Okay. To be continued. Give it up for Dr. J and Dr. I. It's good to see you both. If you want more information on Dr. J and Dr. I, check out their medical blog, Twin Doctors TV. And if you have a question for the docs, send it over to us in an email to WCL@WindyCityLive.com.